The Leopard 2 is a main battle tank developed by Krauss-Maffei in the early 1970s for the West German Army. The tank first entered service in 1979 and succeeded the earlier Leopard 1 as the main battle tank of the German Army. Various versions have served in the armed forces of Germany and 12 other European countries, as well as several non-European nations. More than 3,480 Leopard 2s have been manufactured. The Leopard 2 first saw combat in Kosovo with the German Army and has also seen action in Afghanistan with the Danish and Canadian contributions to the International Security Assistance Force. There are two main development batches of the tank, the original models up to Leopard 2A4, which have vertically faced turret armor, and the improved batch, namely the Leopard 2A5 and newer versions, which have angled arrow-shaped turret applique copyright armor together with other improvements. All models feature digital fire control systems with laser rangefinders, a fully stabilized main gun and coaxial machine gun, and advanced night vision and sighting equipment. The tank has the ability to engage moving targets while moving over rough terrain. History, development. Even as the Leopard 1 was entering service in 1965, an up-gun version with the new Rheinmetall L44 120mm gun was being considered to keep pace with newer Soviet designs, but this was cancelled in favor of the MBT-70 super tank project developed jointly with the United States. The MBT-70 was a revolutionary design, but after large cost overruns, Germany withdrew from the project in 1969. Work on a national development was started in 1970 by Krauss-Maffei. A year later, a choice was made for it to be based on the earlier experimental Entwicklung-G project of the late 60s, instead of being a modified MBT-70 or EBA. The name of the design was determined in 1971 as Leopard 2, with the original Leopard retroactively becoming the Leopard 1. 17 prototypes were ordered that year. They had to have a maximum weight of 50 metric tons. On December 11, 1974, a Memorandum of Understanding was signed with the USA for the possible joint production of a new MBT, after the Americans had bought and investigated prototype hull number 7 in 1973. In view of the experiences in the Yom Kippur War, a much higher level of protection was demanded than was implemented in the prototypes, that used heavily sloped spaced armor. The weight class was increased to 60 tons. Prototype turret number 14 was changed to test a new armor configuration, and was turned into a blockier-looking turret as a result of using vertical steel perforated armor. It already had been much more voluminous than the turret of a Leopard 1 because of a large internal ammunition storage locker in the rear bustle. The Leopard 2 thus initially used perforated armor, and not Cobham armor as is sometimes claimed. PT-14 used the 120mm Rheinmetall gun. After this, 2 new prototype hulls and 3 turrets were ordered, one mounting the original L7A3 105mm gun and a Hughes fire control system, a second with the same fire control system but able to swap out the gun for the 120mm Rheinmetall design, and one more mounting the Hughes Krupp Atlas electronic EMES-13 fire control system, with the 120mm gun. In mid-1976, prototype 19 was assembled and shipped to the USA, together with hull number 20 and a special target vehicle to test the armor. The prototype was called Leopard 2AV because it had a simplified fire control system. It arrived in the US by the end of August 1976, and comparative tests between the Leopard 2 and the XM1 prototypes were held from September 1 at Aberdeen Proving Ground, lasting until December 1976. The U.S. Army reported that the Leopard 2 and the XM1 were comparable in firepower and mobility, but the XM1 was superior in armor protection. Today we know this was true as regards a hit by a hollow charge. But against K attack, the Leopard 2 was almost twice as well protected as the original M1. Its more traditional multi-fuel turbodiesel engine was also more reliable, and provided similar performance with less fuel consumption, with more noise but a smaller heat signature. This type of engine also allowed for quick engine startups and shutdowns to prevent the need for long idling periods on the battlefield. Hull 20 was fitted with simulation weights. Later it was discovered that these equaled only the weight of a turret without armor modules fitted, invalidating all performance data. After the comparative test, the Leopard 2 hulls were returned to Germany for further evaluation, but turret 19 remained and was fitted to the hull of prototype 7, whilst its gun was changed for the 120 on Rheinmetall. In tests until March 1977, it was found to be far superior to the 105 ML7 mounted on the Abrams, which was confirmed by subsequent NATO tank gun recontests. Before tests had begun, the United States had selected the Chrysler XM1 prototype for full development. In January 1977, Germany ordered a small pre-series of 3 hulls and 2 turrets, delivered in 1978. These vehicles had increased armor protection on the front of the hull. In September 1977, 1,800 Leopard 2 tanks were ordered, to be produced in 5 batches. The first was delivered on October 25, 1979. The Dutch Army had already rejected the M1 because of its high operating costs and the refusal by the Americans to fit a Dutch version with the 120 on gun, and instead ordered 445 Leopard 2s on March 2, 1979. The Swiss ordered 35 tanks on August 24, 1983, and started license production of 345 additional vehicles in December 1987. Although hardly being a major export success in the 1980s, the type became very popular in the 1990s, when the shrinking German army offered many of its redundant Leopard 2s at a reduced price. It became successful enough in Europe that the manufacturer started calling it the Euro Leopard, despite France, Britain, and Italy all operating their own MBTs. But with further non-European orders, the name Global Leopard is now used instead. Production and exports. In September 1977, the German Ministry of Defense decided to go ahead with plans for production of 1,800 Leopard 2s, to be delivered in 5 batches. Krauss-Maffei was again chosen as the main contractor, but this time Maschinenbau Kiel, of Kiel, would be a major subcontractor. Deliveries started in 1979, and by 1982 the first batch of 380 Leopard 2, 209 by Krauss-Maffei and 171 by Mack was completed. The earliest of these were fitted with an image intensifier, the last 80 with a new thermal night sight system, and this was later retrofitted to the earlier models. The first export customer were the Netherlands, which received 445 vehicles between July 1981 and July 1986. The Netherlands later resold 114 of these to Austria, 80 to Canada in 2007, another 52 tanks to Norway, 37 to Portugal, and finally 100 to Finland. Sweden also acquired 280 Leopards, 162 A4s from German stocks, designated Stridsvagn 121, and the rest Leopard 2s, models similar in configuration to the Leopard 2A5 variant. Spain first leased and later bought 108 2A4 models in the interim period before 219 license-built Leopard 2A6 models were ready to replace them. Switzerland bought 380 between 1987 and 1993. Some countries also use versions of the tank, including Poland, Denmark, Finland, Greece, Turkey and Chile. Germany has fielded about 2,125 Leopard 2s in various versions. The design was also tested by the UK in the 1980s, which ultimately decided on the Challenger 1. The Australian Army evaluated ex-Swiss Army Leopard 2s as a replacement for its Leopard 1 tanks in 2003, but instead selected the M1A1 Abrams. Design, protection. The Leopard 2 uses spaced, multi-layered composite armor throughout the design. The Leopard 2A5 and A6 models have additional armor added to the turret front, and on the hull and side skirts. Estimated levels of protection for the Leopard 2 range from 590 to 690 Ri on the turret, 600 Ri on the glacis and lower front hull on the Leopard 2A4, to 920 to 940 Ri on the turret, 620 Ri on the glacis and lower front hull on the Leopard 2A6 against kinetic projectiles. The mine-protected Leopard 2A4M and 2A6M adds an additional mine protection plate for the belly, which increases protection against mines and improvised explosive devices. All Leopard 2 variants after the Leopard 2A6 include spall liners on the inside of the tank, protecting the crew. The Leopard 2A6M can increase its protection against rocket-propelled grenades by including additional slat armor. Two groups of 4 Wegmann 76mm smoke mortars are mounted on either side of the turret and can be electrically fired either as single rounds or in salvos of 4. They are mounted on most Leopard 2 models, with the exception of Dutch Leopard 2s, which are equipped instead with a Dutch-designed smoke mortar system with 6 barrels on each side. Swedish Leopard 2s utilize French GALIX smoke dispensers, similar to the system found on the French Leclerc. The crew is also protected against nuclear, biological and chemical threats, as the Leopard 2 is equipped with a NBC overpressurization system which provides up to 4 millibars overpressure inside the vehicle. The Leopard 2 is equipped with a fire protection system. 4 9 kg Holland fire extinguisher bottles are installed on the right behind the driver's station. The bottles are connected to pipes and hoses and are activated automatically by the fire detection system when temperatures rise above 82 degrees Celsius inside the fighting compartment, or manually via a control panel in the driver's compartment. An extra 2.5 kg Holland fire extinguisher is also stored on the floor beneath the main gun. Armament. Primary. The primary armament for production versions of the Leopard 2 is the Rheinmetall 120mm smoothbore gun, in either the L44 variant, or the L55 variant. 27 rounds of the main gun ammunition are stored in a special magazine in the forward section of the hull, to the left of the driver's station, with an additional 15 rounds stored in the left side of the turret bustle, and separated from the fighting compartment by an electrically operated door. If the ammunition storage area is hit, a blow-off panel in the turret roof would direct an explosion upwards away from the crew compartment. The gun is fully stabilized, and can fire a variety of types of rounds, such as the German Dam 33 APF SDST anti-tank round, which is said to be able to penetrate 560 mm of steel armor at a range of 2,000 meters, and the German Dam 12 multi-purpose anti-tank projectile. For the L55 gun, a new APF SDST round was introduced to take advantage of the longer barrel, the DM53, which is said to be able to penetrate in excess of 810 mm of re-armor at a range of 2,000 meters. The bore evacuator and the gun's thermal sleeve of the A4 and A5, designed to regulate the temperature of the barrel, are fabricated out of glass-reinforced plastic. The barrel has a chrome lining to increase barrel life. The main gun is capable of power elevating from +20 degree to a 9 degree. Rheinmetall has developed an upgrade for Leopard 2 tanks to give them the ability to fire the LAH-80 anti-tank guided missile through the main gun. The missile can engage targets out to a range of 6,000 meters. Secondary, the Leopard 2 is equipped with 2 machine guns, one mounted coaxially, the other on an anti-aircraft mount. On German models, the 2 machine guns are the MGA 37.62 machine gun. On Dutch and Singapore models, these 2 machine guns are FN Mag 7.62 machine guns, and on Swiss models, they are Swiss MG 87 7.5 machine guns. 4750 rounds of machine gun ammunition are carried on board the Leopard 2. Fire control. The standard fire control system found on the Leopard 2 is the German EMES-15 fire control system with a dual magnification stabilized primary sight. The primary sight has an integrated neodymium-yttrium aluminium garnet solid-state laser rangefinder and a 120-element cadmium-mercury telluride, CDHGTE ZEISS thermal sight, which are both linked to the tank's fire control computer. A backup 8x auxiliary telescope FEROZ-18 is mounted coaxially for the gunner. The commander has an independent periscope, the Rheinmetall ZEISS Perrier 17A2. The Perrier 17A2 is a stabilized panoramic periscope sight designed for day/night observation and target identification, and it provides an all-round view with a traverse of 360 degree. The thermal image from the commander's periscope is displayed on a monitor inside the tank. Initial production tanks were not equipped with a thermal sight, due to the sight being not ready, and instead temporarily substituted the PZB-200 low-light TV system. The fire control suite is capable of providing up to 3 range values in 4 seconds. The range data is transmitted to the fire control computer and is used to calculate the firing solution. Also, because the laser rangefinder is integrated into the gunner's primary sight, the gunner is able to read the digital range measurement directly. The maximum range of the laser rangefinder is just less than 10,000 am with a measuring accuracy to within 20 am at this range. The combined system allows the Leopard 2 to engage moving targets at ranges of up to 5,000 meters whilst itself being on the move over rough terrain. Propulsion. The Leopard 2 is propelled by the MTU-MB 873 diesel engine, which provides 1,500 PS of engine output. The MTU-MB 873 diesel engine is a 4-stroke, 47.6-liter, 12-cylinder multi-fuel, exhaust turbocharged, liquid-cooled engine, which has an estimated fuel consumption rate of around 300 liters per 100 km on roads and 500 liters per 100 km across country, and is coupled to the Renk HSWL 354 gear and brake system. The Renk HSWL 354 transmission has 4 forward, 2 reverse gears with a torque converter and is completely automatic, with the driver selecting the range. The Leopard 2 has 4 fuel tanks, which have a total capacity of approximately 1,160 liters, giving a maximum road range of about 500 km. Together, the propulsion pack is capable of driving the tank to a top road speed of 68 km per hour, and top reverse is 31 km per hour. The power pack can be changed in the field in 35 minutes. The engine and transmission is separated from the crew compartment through a fireproof bulkhead. An enhanced version of the Euro Power Pack, with a 1,650 PS MTU Mount 883 engine has also been trialled by the Leopard 2. The Leopard 2 has a torsion bar suspension, and has advanced friction dampers. The running gear consists of 7 dual rubber-tired road wheels and 4 return rollers per side, with the idler wheel at the front and drive sprocket at the rear. The tracks are DIL 570 F-tracks, with rubber bashed end connectors, which have removable rubber pads and use 82 links on each track. For use in icy ground, up to 18 rubber pads can be replaced by the same number of grouses, which are stored in the vehicle's bow when not in use. The upper part of the tracks are covered with side skirts, with the first 2 road wheels and idler covered by an armored skirt. The Leopard 2 can drive through water 4 meters deep using a snorkel or 1.2 meters without any preparation and climb vertical obstacles over 1 meter high. The German army has prioritized mobility in its Leopard 2, which is considered the fastest MBT in existence. Combat history, KFOR, the German contingent of the Kosovo force operated Leopard 2A4S and 2A5S in Kosovo. I4SFOR, the Dutch contingent in Bosnia-Herzegovina operated Leopard 2A4S and Leopard 2A5S at the NLD bases at Bugojo, Novi Travnik, Sisava, Nesevo, Maslever and Suka. ISAF-OEF, in October 2003, Canada was planning to replace its Leopard C2S with wheeled Striker mobile gun systems. However, operational experience in Afghanistan, and in particular during Operation Medusa, convinced the Canadian military of the usefulness of maintaining a tank fleet. Leopard C2S were deployed to Kandahar in December 2006, but they were by then almost 30 years old, and were nearing the end of their operational life. The Canadian government decided to borrow 20 Leopard 2A6S and 3 armoured recovery vehicles from Germany for rapid deployment to Afghanistan. In late August 2007, the first Leopard 2s were airlifted into Afghanistan to equip Lord Strathcona's horse. In an assault on November 2, 2007, a Leopard 2A6M hit an IED and survived without casualties. My crew stumbled upon an IED and made history as the first to test the M packet. It worked as it should, wrote a Canadian officer in an email to German defense officials. Canadian Chief of the Defense Staff General Rick Hillier denied reports that a Leopard 2 tank that was struck by an IED was a write-off, insisting that the tank has been repaired and is once again in use. The Taliban have been engaged with some of the new Leopard 2 tanks in several ambushes, and that as a result the Taliban learned some very harsh lessons, and lost the battle in question very quickly and very violently. In October 2007, Denmark also deployed its Leopard 2A5 DKs in support of operations in southern Afghanistan. The Danish tank unit, drawn from the 1st Battalion of the JYDSKE Dragon Regiment, was equipped with 3 tanks and 1 M113 armoured personnel carrier, with an armoured recovery vehicle and another tank kept in reserve. The Danish version of the Leopard 2A5 is fitted with Swedish-made Barracuda camouflage mats, that serve to limit the absorption of solar heat, thus reducing infrared signature and interior temperature. It also has a conventional driver's seat bolted on the floor of the tank, whereas in the Canadian 2A6M the driver's seat has been replaced by a dynamic safety seat, which is a parachute harness-like arrangement that the driver wears around his hip. 6 large belts hold him in the right position. In this way, the driver does not have any contact with the hull except on the pedals and is out of the shockwave area of exploding landmines or IEDs. In January 2008, Danish tanks halted a flanking maneuver by Taliban forces near the Helmand River by providing gunfire in support of Danish and British infantry from elevated positions. On February 26, 2008, a Danish Leopard 2 was hit by an explosive device, damaging one track. No one was injured and the tank returned to camp on its own for repairs. The first fatality suffered by a crew operating a Leopard 2 happened on July 25, 2008. A Danish Leopard 2A5 hit an IED in Helmand province. The vehicle was able to continue 200 meters before it halted. 3 members of the 4-man crew were able to escape even though wounded, but the driver was stuck inside. On-site treatment by Danish medics could not save him. The vehicle was towed to FOB Atl and then later to FOB Armadillo for investigation and possible redeployment. During the same contact with Taliban forces, a second tank was caught in an explosion but none of the crew were wounded. Beginning on December 7, 2008, Leopard 2 tanks took part in Operation Red Dagger, firing 31 rounds in support of coalition troops as they recaptured Nad Ali district. A press release from the British Ministry of Defence praised the tank's fire accuracy and mobility, claiming the Leopard 2 was a decisive factor in the coalition's success. Danish Leopard 2A5 SR, as of 2013, still in Afghanistan, providing security cover for the withdrawal of British and NATO troops. Variants: Leopard 2, the baseline Leopard 2, sometimes informally called the AO to differentiate it from later versions, was the first series manufactured version. The vehicles were manufactured from October 1979 until March 1982, altogether 380 vehicles. 209 were built by Krauss-Maffei and 171 by Marquet. The basic equipment consisted of electrical hydraulic WNAH-22, a fire control computer, a laser rangefinder, a wind sensor, a general-purpose telescope EMES-15, a panorama periscope Peria-17, the tower sight FEROZ-18, on the tower roof as well as a computer-controlled tank testing setup EP1 Euro-8. 200 of the vehicles had a low-light enhancer instead of a thermal imaging. 2 chassis served as driver training vehicles. Leopard 2A1, minor modifications and the installation of the gunner's thermal sight were worked into the second batch of 450 vehicles. Leopard 2 designated the A1. 248 by Krauss-Maffei and 202 by Mack. Deliveries of the 2A1 models started in March 1982 and ended in November 1983. The 2 most notable changes were the modification of the ammunition racks to be identical to those in the M1 Abrams, and redesigned fuel filters that reduced refueling time. A third batch of 300 Leopard 2. 165 by Krauss-Maffei and 135 by Marquet 2A1s of the third batch were built between November 1983 and November 1984, which included more minor changes that were later retrofitted to the earlier 2A1s. Leopard 2A2, this designation was given to upgraded vehicles of the first batch of Leopard 2s, brought up to the standard of the second and third batches. This modernization gradually replaced the original PZB-200 sights in the first batch with thermal sights for the EMES-15 as they became available. Furthermore, the upgrade included the fitting of filler openings and caps to the forward hull fuel tanks to allow separate refueling, as well as the addition of a deflector plate for the periscope and a large cover plate to protect the existing NBC protection system. Finally, the tank was given new 5-meter towing cables with a different position. The program began in 1984 and ended in 1987. The third, fourth and fifth batches were during this period produced with the same features. The modernized first batch can be recognized by the circular plate covering the hole where the crosswind sensor for the fire control system was removed. Leopard 2A3, the fourth batch of 300 vehicles. 165 by Krauss-Maffei and 135 by Mack was delivered between December 1984 and December 1985. The main change was the addition of the SEM80/90 digital radio sets, and the ammunition reloading hatches being welded shut. Even with these minor changes, the new batch was known as the 2A3. Leopard 2A4. The most widespread version of the Leopard 2 family, the 2A4 models included more substantial changes, including an automated fire and explosion suppression system, an all-digital fire control system able to handle new ammunition types, and improved turret with flat titanium tungsten armor. The Leopard 2s were manufactured in 8 batches between 1985 and 1992. All the older models were also upgraded to 2A4 standard. Until 1994, Germany operated a total of 2,125 2A4s, while the Netherlands had an additional 445 tanks. The 2A4 was also license manufactured in Switzerland as the Panzer 87 Leopard, or PZ-87. This version included Swiss-built 7.5 mm G87 machine guns and communications equipment, and featured improved NBC protection system. Switzerland operated 380 PZ-87 tanks. After 2000, Germany and the Netherlands found themselves with large stocks of tanks they had no need for after the Cold War. These tanks were sold to NATO or friendly armies around the world. Among these were Austria, who received 114 vehicles, Canada, Chile, Denmark, Finland, Greece, Norway, Poland, Portugal, Singapore, Spain, Sweden, and Turkey were among the buyers of the surplus tanks. The PZ-87WE is planned a Swiss modification and upgrade of the PZ-87. The modification significantly improves protection through the addition of the Leopard 2A6M's mine protection kit, thicker armor on the front glasses, and a turret equipped with a Swiss-developed armor package using titanium alloy. The turret roof armor is improved and a smoke grenade launcher is redesigned. Further improvements enhance survivability and combat capability, such as a turret electric drive similar to the Leopard 2A5, a driver rear-view camera, an independent weapons station for the loader, and enhanced command and control systems. The fire control system is also upgraded, using the Carl Zeiss Optronics GmbH Perrier 17A2 fire control system. A remote weapons station containing a fully stabilized MG64 0.50 and machine gun is also fitted to the tank. The PZ-87-140 is an experimental variant of the Swiss PZ-87 with a 140 mm gun and an additional armor later used on the newer production variants. The Leopard 2A4CHL is the upgraded Chilean version of the Leopard 2A4 ordered by Chile in 2007. Upgrades include new electronics, sighting and information systems meant to elevate the Leopard 2A4's networking capability to be equal to that of the Leopard 2A6. A new suspension system and the upgrading of the tank's main gun to the L55 smoothbore cannon used on the Leopard 2A6. Other upgrades are remote weapon stations over the gunner and commander hatches fitted with the MG3 and HKGMG. The Leopard 2A4CHL also has improved roof and side turret armor and can be uplinked with Chile's battlefield control network. The Leopard 2A4M can is the upgraded Canadian version of the Leopard 2A4 acquired from the Royal Netherlands Army surplus. The Leopard 2A4M can is specially designed for the war in Afghanistan, based on experience gained by Leopard 2 operators. The first 20 were delivered in October 2010 and with only 5 being deployed to Afghanistan at end of 2010, and operated until July 2011 when combat operations stopped. Though originally planned to be upgunned to the L-55 for consistency with the 2A6M can, the longer barrel guns were found to be less than ideal in Afghanistan, therefore it was decided to retain the L-44. In addition, only small areas of slat armor were added, in contrast with the fully caged 2A6M cans. The protection of the Leopard 2A4M can has been further augmented with the addition of applique armor resembling that found on the most recent Leopard 2A7 Plus variant, but modified to fit the turret configuration of the 2A4. Of the remaining ex-Dutch Leopards, Canada will upgrade 42 for training use and convert 18 to armored engineering vehicles. Canada has also purchased 15 2A4S from Germany as logistic stock vehicles, and in February 2011 bought 12 2A4S PZ-87 from the Swiss to be converted to support vehicles. The Leopard 2NG is a privately funded Turkish upgrade by Aselsan that includes the application of modular composite armor, upgraded optics, completely overhauled turret mechanics and a new fire control system on the works since 1995 and to be delivered by late 2011, which is intended to be used on new Altay MBT. It was developed without an order of the Turkish army, but might meet the requirements for the modernization of the Turkish Leopard 2A4S. The old power pack and the L/44 gun barrel are kept, but the combat weight is increased to 65 tons. According to the Turkish news sources, Finland is interested in getting the Turkish upgrade package to modernize their fleet of Leopard 2A4S. Leopard 2A5. The A5 introduced a wedge-shaped, spaced add-on armor to the turret front and the frontal area of the sides. These armor modules defeat hollow charge prior to reaching the base armor. The spaced armor is also designed to affect kinetic energy penetrators by forcing them to change direction and eroding them in the process. It does not form a shot trap since it doesn't deflect the penetrators outwards to hit the hull or turret ring. The gun mantlet was redesigned to accept the new armor. There were also some improvements in the main armor composition. The tank interior received spool liners to reduce fragments if the armor is penetrated. The frontal heavy third of the side skirts was replaced with a new, stronger type. The commander sight was moved to a new position behind the hatch and it received an independent thermal channel. The gunner's sight was moved to the turret roof as opposed to the cavity in the front armor in previous models. A new heavier sliding driver's hatch was fitted. Turret controls went all electric, increasing reliability and crew safety, and producing some weight savings. The gun braking system was improved to prepare for the later mounting of the new L-55 gun tube and to enable firing of more powerful ammunition, such as the DM-53 APF-SDS. The A5 entered service in the German tank battalions in mid-1998. The Leopard 2S is a Swedish Army variant of the Leopard 2A5, which has received the local designation STRV-122. It is based on what was then called Leopard 2 Improved, and features increased armor on the turret top and front hull, and improved command, control and fire control systems. Externally, the vehicle can be distinguished from the Leopard 2A5 by the French GALIX smoke dispensers, different storage bins, and the much thicker crew hatches. The STRV-122B, a variant equipped with modular AMAP composite armor from IBD Diesenroth, has increased 360° protection against threats like EFPs, RPGs and IEDs. The width of exactly 4 meters has been kept, while the weight increases by only 350 kilograms. The Leopard 2A5DK is a variant of the Leopard 2A5 similar to the Leopard 2A6 with some small modifications, used by the Danish Army. Leopard 2A6 includes the addition of the Rheinmetall 120mm 55 smoothbore gun and other changes. All German tank battalions of the Crisis Intervention Forces are equipped with the A6. Canada purchased 20 Leopard 2A6s from the Netherlands. These were delivered in 2007. Portugal also purchased 37 Leopard 2A6 from the Dutch in 2007, with delivery in 2008. In January 2014, Finland purchased 100 L2A6s, as well as munitions, simulators, and a 10-year supply of reserve parts from the Netherlands. The tanks are being delivered in batches between 2015 to 2019. The Leopard 2A6M is a version of the 2A6 with enhanced mine protection under the chassis, and internal enhancements to improve crew survivability. Canada has borrowed 20 A6Ms from Germany for deployment to Afghanistan in late summer 2007. The new tanks all have turret electric drive. The Leopard 2A6M can is a Canadian variant of the Leopard 2A6M. Significant modifications include distinctive black boxes mounted on the rear of the turret bustle, originally expected to be the new air conditioning unit but instead likely contains Canadian Forces designated communications gear, and standoff slat armor. The first tanks configured in this variant are the 20 tanks loaned from the German Bundes, in an effort to increase firepower and to increase protection given to Canadian troops operating in the south of Afghanistan. The loaner tanks are expected to retain their German MG3 machine guns, while the ex-Dutch tanks are expected to retain their FN Mag machine guns due to commonality with existing Canadian stocks. Due to the loaned status of the first 20 tanks, the air conditioning unit originally could not be installed as only minimal changes could be made. The loaned German tanks will now be kept by the Canadian Forces and may be upgraded even further, while the ex-Dutch Leopard 2A6s were modified to German Leopard 2A6M specifications and used as restitution for the loaned tanks. Currently, Canadian Leopard 2s in Afghanistan have since been fitted with an air conditioning unit, and the Saab Barracuda camouflage mats which also serve to reduce solar loading by 50%. The Leopard 2 hull is a derivative of the 2A6, ordered by the Greek Army in 2003. The HEL stands for Hellenic. The 170 tanks were to be delivered between 2006 and 2009. A total of 140 will be built in Greece by ELBO, which delivered the first units in late 2006. The Leopard 2E is a derivative of the 2A6, with greater armor protection, developed under a program of co-production between the defense industries of Spain and Germany. The program was developed within the frame of collaboration decided in 1995 between the defense ministries of both countries, in which also was included the cession of use by a period of 5 years of 108 Leopard 2A4 from the German Army to the Spanish Army. However, this cession was extended up to 2016, and after that those tanks will be the sole property of the Spanish Army, as has been made public on January 24, 2006, then having been paid a total of €15,124,014 in 10 yearly installments, giving the Spanish co-ownership from 2006. In 1998, the Spanish government agreed to contract 219 tanks of the Leopard 2E line, 16 recovery tanks Leopard 2ER and 4 training vehicles. They chose Santa Barbara System as the main contractor. The program, with a budget of €1,939.4 million, includes also the integrated logistical support, training courses for crew instructors and maintenance engineers and driving, turret, maintenance, aiming and shooting simulators. Deliveries of the first batch began in 2004 and should complete in 2008. Leopard 2 PSO. This new variant Leopard 2 PSO is designed specially for urban warfare, which had been encountered in peacekeeping operations with increasing frequency. Therefore the Leopard 2 PSO is equipped with more effective all-around protection, a secondary weapons station, improved reconnaissance ability, a bulldozer blade, a shorter gun barrel, non-lethal armament, close-range surveillance ability, a searchlight and further changes to improve its perseverance and mobility in a built-up non-wide open area. These features are not too dissimilar to the tank urban survival kit for the American M1A2 Abrams. Leopard 2A7 Plus. The Leopard 2A7 Plus was first shown to the public during the Eurosatory 2010, featuring the label developed by KMW, tested and qualified by German Mod. The Leopard 2A7 Plus has been tested by the Bundeswehr under the name Bob. The Leopard 2A7 Plus is designed to operate in low-intensity conflicts as well as in high-intensity conflicts. The tank's protection has been increased by modular armor. The frontal protection has been improved with a dual kit on the turret and hull front, while 360° protection against RPGs and mine protection increased the survivability of the tank in urban operations. It can fire programmable HE munitions, and the turret-mounted MG3 has been replaced with a stabilized FLW-200 remotely controlled weapon station. The mobility, sustainability and situational awareness have also been improved. Leopard 2 to 140, as the 1990s began, Rheinmetall began developing a 140-ohm smoothbore cannon as a future tank cannon. This was intended to counter new developments in Soviet bloc armored fighting vehicles, most especially persistent rumors that the next-generation Soviet main battle tank would be armed with either a 135-ohm or 152-ohm cannon. This program was contemplated as the third stage in the KWS program of modernizing Leopard 2 tanks. KWSI was the replacement of the L-44 120-ohm cannon with the 55 caliber model. KWS-2 was a modernization program that became the Leopard 2A5, and KWS-3 was the development of a new turret including a 140-ohm smoothbore weapon system and an automatic loader, which would have resulted in the reduction of the crew size to 3 soldiers. The final project design contained a lateral loading mechanism and had the main gun moved in the left turret side. Ammunition load for the main gun was 32 rounds, which were stored in a large ammunition bunker, covering the full turret rear. Moving the ammunition out of the crew's compartment would have resulted in a higher survivability in case of a penetration. The planned protection level was to be equal to the Leopard 2A5 or better. Command and control of the tank was supposed to be improved by the introduction of the ISIS system in its latest version. The KWS-3 was not adopted then, but development continued on the 140-ohm weapon system, with Rheinmetall coordinating with Royal Ordnance from the UK and GIAT from France. To test out the weapon's capabilities, the 140-ohm gun was mounted to a Leopard 2. The tank was not equipped with the new turret armor of the KWS-3 improvement program, nor with an automatic loader, and it also still had the electro-hydraulic turret drive. To cope with the extra weight of the main gun, counterweights were added to the turret rear. The tests were partially successful, with the gun showing superior penetration power, but also some difficulties with the handling. Engineering and driver training tanks. Bergpanzer BPZ-3 bar 1/4 FFEL. The BPZ-3 armored recovery vehicle includes both a bulldozer and a crane with integral winch, allowing it to approach damaged vehicles, even over rough and fought-over terrain, and tow them to safety. It is equipped with a machine gun for local self-defense, a smoke grenade launcher, and NBC protection. Like the tank, it is powered by a 1,500 picosecond diesel engine. In service with Germany, the Netherlands, Austria, Canada, Greece, Singapore, Spain, Sweden, and Switzerland. Panzerschnellbauer 1/4 CKE-2, this vehicle, created by MAN Mobile Bridges GmbH, is an armored vehicle-launched bridge developed from the Leopard 2 tank chassis. It is designed to carry a folding mobile bridge, which it can launch across a river. Once emplaced, the bridge is sturdy enough to support most vehicles, even Leopard tanks. When the crossing is complete, the bridge layer simply hooks up to the bridge and restows it. Panzerschnellbauer 1/4 CKE Legan. This modular system combines a bridge module created by MAN Mobile Bridges GmbH with a tank chassis. The Bundeswehr is testing the Legan on Leopard 2 chassis. Pioneer Panzer III Kodiak, a combat engineering vehicle conversion of the Leopard 2, the Kodiak is used by Swiss Army, and is on order for the Dutch Army and Swedish Army. While equipped with a bulldozer, excavator, and dual capstan winches, the Pioneer Panzer III has no turret but a remote weapon station is fitted. It rides on the Leopard 2 chassis with a built-up forward superstructure. The vehicle is used primarily for clearance of obstacles. The Dutch version will have additional bomblet protection for the crew compartments. Spain may procure 24 examples for the Spanish Army from converted Leopard 2A4 hulls. One vehicle has been trialed in Spain. Driver training tank. The Leopard 2 driver training tank, as the name implies, is a non-combatant Leopard 2 for instructing soldiers in the finer points of handling the tank. The turret is supplanted by a weighted and fixed observation cab with forward and side-facing windows and a dummy gun. The instructor rides in this cab, with override controls for critical systems, and space is provided for 2 other students to observe. Leopard 2R, heavy mine-breaching vehicle developed by Patria for the Finnish Army, based on the Leopard 2A4. A total of 10 vehicles were converted. The vehicles are equipped with a mine plow or a dozer blade, and an automated marking system. Leopard 2L, armored vehicle launched bridge developed by KMW and Patria for the Finnish Army. 10 Finnish 2A4 tanks were rebuilt to carry the Legan bridge. Technical data, operators. In Austria, the Austrian Army acquired 114 Leopard 2A4s from surplus Dutch stocks plus 1 turret. In 2014 only 56 Leopard 2A4s are still in service, the rest was sold to Krauss-Maffei Wegmann Defence Company. Canada, the Canadian Army acquired 100 Leopard 2A4 tanks from the Netherlands in 2007. 20 Leopard 2A6M were borrowed from the German Army beginning in mid-2007 to support the Canadian deployment in Afghanistan, with the first tank handed over after upgrading by KMW on August 2, 2007, and arriving in Afghanistan on August 16, 2007. 2 Bergpanzer 3-1/4 FFEL were loaned from the German Army for use with the Canadian deployment in Afghanistan. An additional 15 Leopard 2A4 tanks were purchased from the German Army for spare parts. An additional 12 surplus PZ-87 were purchased from Switzerland in 2011 for conversion to protected special vehicles. The Canadian Army will be able to deploy 59 tanks supported by 13 to 18 AEVs, 12 ARVs and 15 logistic support vehicles. Chile, the Chilean Army acquired 132 Leopard 2A4s upgraded to the Leopard 2A4 CHL standard from German stocks in 2007. In April 2013, Chile began negotiations to purchase 100 Leopard 2A5 tanks from surplus German stocks, as well as modernization kits to upgrade all its current Leopard 2A4s up to A5 standard. At Denmark, the Royal Danish Army operates 57 Leopard 2A5 DK and 6 Leopard 2A4 from German stocks. At Finland, the Finnish Army originally bought 124 2A4s from surplus German stocks in 2003. 12 have been converted into bridge-laying and combat engineering tanks. 12 tanks have been disassembled for use as spares, leaving 100 operational tanks. In 2009 the Finnish Army bought 15 more German surplus Leopard 2A4s for spare parts of existing fleet. Finland currently has 139 Leopard 2s. On January 16, 2014, Finland agreed with the Netherlands to purchase 100 used Leopard 2A6NL tanks for approximately $200 million. At Germany, the German Army has operated about 2,350 Leopard 2s of all versions. Large numbers have been sold to other countries after the end of the Cold War or placed in storage. At Greece, the Hellenic Army operates 353 Leopard 2s. Indonesia sought and obtained approval for the purchase of 104 used Leopard 2A4 tanks from Bundeswehr stocks, along with 4 1/4 FFEL ARV, 3 Legan AVLB bridge-laying tanks and 3 Kodiak AEV. About 61 of Leopard 2A4 will be upgraded to Revolution standard by Rheinmetall. 50 Marder 1A3 infantry fighting vehicles would also be acquired as part of the deal. On September 23, 2013, the Indonesian Army received the first 2 Leopard 2A4 tanks and 2 Marder 1A3 infantry fighting vehicles. In Norway, the Norwegian Army operates 52 ex-Dutch Leopard 2A4s, designated A4NO. The Norwegian Leopards are currently upgraded to 2A5 standard. At Poland, the Polish land forces operate 128 Leopard 2A4s and ordered further 14 Leopard 2A4 and 105 Leopard 2A5. All Polish Leopard 2 tanks serve with the 10th Armored Cavalry Brigade based in SHWIA and registered trademark Tosa Cube W. In March 2013, Polish Ministry of National Defense announced that further similar numbers of Leopard 2 tanks will be bought to establish a second brigade. November 22, 2013. The Polish Defense Ministry has acquired 119 tanks from the German Army. These include 105 Leopard 2A5 tanks and 14 2A4 variants. All previously acquired Leopard tanks are to be upgraded to Leopard 2PL standard. First 11 Leopard 2A5 arrived in Poland on May 16, 2014. At Portugal, the Portuguese Army has 37 ex-Dutch Leopard 2A6s in service. At Singapore, the Singapore Army acquired a total of 96 ex-German Leopard 2A4s, including 30 spare tanks. A number were upgraded with additional AMAP composite armor in 2010 by IBD Diessenroth and Saint Kinetics and renamed Leopard 2SG in October 2010. By 2013, it was reported that Singapore had taken delivery of a total of 182 Leopard 2A4s. At Spain, the Spanish Army operates 327 Leopard 2s. Spain offered its Leopard 2A4 for comparative tests to be conducted by the Peruvian Army for possible acquisition. By September 2013, the Leopard 2A4 had been disqualified by Peru due to logistical complexities. As Sweden, the Swedish Army operates 120 Leopard 2s, and has operated 160 ex-German Leopard 2A4s. Only the STRV-122s are still in active service. As Switzerland, the Swiss Army operates 382 A4s designated PZ-87. 35 of these were bought from Germany while the remaining ones were licensed manufactured locally. At Turkey, the Turkish Army received 354 Leopard 2A4s. Former operators, Netherlands, the Royal Netherlands Army has operated 445 Leopard 2s. 330 of these were updated to 2A5 standard in 1993, and later, 188 of these were converted to 2A6 standard. Many Leopard 2s were sold after the end of the Cold War. On April 8, 2011, the Dutch Ministry of Defense announced that the last remaining tank division will be dissolved and the remaining Leopard tanks sold due to large budget cuts. On May 18, 2011, the last tank fired the final shot at the Bergenhorn training area. They were due to be delivered to the Indonesian Army, which planned to purchase the entire Dutch stock of Leopard 2A6. However, the deal was scrapped after opposition from the Dutch Parliament. The Dutch Army offered its formerly operated Leopard 2A6s for comparative tests to be conducted by the Peruvian Army for possible acquisition. By September 2013, the Leopard 2A6 had been disqualified by Peru due to logistical complexities. The Leopard 2s were eventually sold to Finland in a deal signed in January 2014 for $200 million with deliveries to start from 2015 to 2019. Future pending, Qatar. The Qatari government was interested in buying up to 200 Leopard 2 tanks from KMW. The deal depended in part on an approval from the German Bundessicherheitsrat. Qatar signed a contract for 62 Leopard 2A7 Plus tanks in April 2013. Deliveries are to commence in late 2014 or early 2015 and be completed in 2018. Saudi Arabia, the Saudi Arabian government is seeking to buy Leopard 2A7s. In early July 2011, German press reported that the Bundessicherheitsrat approved the sale by KMW of more than 200 units of the 2A7 Plus tanks to Saudi Arabia. This news was met with criticism both inside and outside of Germany, because of the autocratic nature of the Saudi Arabian state and its involvement in repressing popular protests in neighboring country Bahrain. Criticism also came from within the Chancellor Angela Merkel's government coalition, and, later from within KMW. In June 2012, reports surfaced that Saudi Arabia had raised the number of tanks it is interested in to 600 to 800. So far a contract has not been finalized, and the issue is debated both in the German public and in Germany's federal parliament. On April 13, 2014, a German newspaper reported that the deal for Leopard 2 tanks for Saudi Arabia was likely to be cancelled due to opposition from the Social Democrat economy minister. See also: Leopard 1, tanks of comparable role, performance and era, Arjun MBTA Indian main battle tank, Challenger 2, British main battle tank, Ariat, Italian main battle tank, AMX Leclerc, French main battle tank, Type 99, Chinese main battle tank, Type 96A, Chinese main battle tank 3000, Chinese main battle tank, T-80, Soviet main battle tank, T-90, post-Soviet Russian main battle tank, T-84, post-Soviet Ukrainian main battle tank, Type 90 Kayamara, Japanese main battle tank, Type 10, Japanese main battle tank, M1 Abrams, U.S. main battle tank. K-188 tank, South Korea main battle tank, Merkava, Israeli main battle tank. References, notes. Bibliography. External links, Leopard 2 Revolution, Leopard 2A4 main battle tank, Army recognition, Army vehicles DK Leopard 2A5, Army vehicles DK Leopard 2A4, military periscope, Leopard 2 main battle tank, FPRADO.com, Kampanzer Leopard 2, Leopard 2A5, A Finnish Army Leopard 2A4 firing from a hull-down position, A Finnish Leopard 2A4 firing, videoed from inside the turret, Danish Leopard 2A5, Singapore Leopard 2A4 MBT.